Hi, we're the Infamy team, and today we're going to be continuing our new series where we each try to get Blake to like esports. We're each going to take a turn trying to sell him on an esports scene, and today it's my turn, and I am choosing Overwatch League as the resident owl simp that I am. Um, it's kind of like I really like it because it's super fast paced, and like I compare it to like basketball where there's like just very little downtime. Shit's always happening, and it can be like kind of hard to follow. That's like one of the big criticisms. But once you get like an eye for it, I really like how you can just always tell who's letting the team down. Like it's always really like apparent. Like especially if you play the game as well, or it's like this dude is just getting like caught out left and right, and you can also just see who's kind of like hard carrying. Um, so I think it's just really good from a spectator's point of view. I'm also going to be trying to. I think it's kind of the best year to one get into Overwatch League, and also going to be pretty much the best year of it at all. So just before I get all into it, y'all are familiar with Overwatch. Do you have any preconceived notions about Overwatch League or anything that you just feel like it's
How
a standard?
frequent is flanking McCree? Because that's all I remember of playing Overwatch is just these kids are like, I'm the damage, and I'm just fucking it up
That's
always.
I'd
like
say McCree is probably like the most hype hero, like out of pretty much all of them, because it's just, like he has so little, but like if like these kids are such aim freaks that like there's just so
Yeah.
many times where they're just like whoop whoop whoop, kill the whole team, like
Yeah.
my only gripe with Overwatch is that like you said, like it's like very fun to watch and it's fast paced, but like the games never play out like the league, and it's like
they
you,
give you
But you,
false hope. That's
I don't think that's fair criticism of an Overwatch specific problem. You can say that for literally any game, Darren.
this is true. This is
I don't know,
true.
man. League is pretty faithful to the
Is it?
fucking Bush League,
I don't
bro.
know.
I watched a Nautilus flash into an entire team in a pro game. I don't know if that doesn't speak to every league game that I've played, but I mean, tell me,
I
what are
mean,
the
they
players,
they have
Steve? Are they
junglers
sweet?
when they're on a good team.
I didn't know Nautilus was jungling.
No, I'm
Yeah,
just
so
saying they have a
my
jungler
favorite
and they do stuff.
hey man, I jungle all
my
the time.
my favorite ode to Overwatch matchmaking and Al is like the flanking Zenyatas. Like we've talked about it before, where it's like Jonak popped off so hard on season 1 that like all these kids on Zenyatta were just like, I'm gonna get
Yeah,
them and
yeah. Maybe
put
maybe
down.
that's more it. Like these kids watch Overwatch League, but like they take the wrong things from it. Like they're not gonna take the like, oh, Ryan and Zarya is good, or like Winston Diva is a dive comp. They're gonna take, oh, when I'm Zen, I'm flanking and I'm killing your whole team.
Because those are the really high moments where it's like, man, he should not have gotten away with it, but he was so good that he was. But the kids that play are not good enough. But
Yeah,
we're
but
not going
dude,
to turn this into into a matchmaking video.
Well, I think
Anything
a
more.
good preface is like I think can't tell the four of us did all play together on PS4, and Darren and I still play occasionally on PC now. But like, yeah, it's like
bro, I would play it if fucking Blizzard didn't have my game on file and that I have it, yet the key is invalid and they will not send me a new one. I'm not buying Overwatch for the third
Just
time.
wait for it to go free to play, bro. It's coming.
That's exactly what I mean, dude, I own it. I paid for it, and then that shit is corrupted, and they're like, yeah, you have it, but we can't figure out how to give it back to you. I was like, you fucking
But
idiots.
yeah, Overwatch gets a lot of bad rap because of like, you know, it's such a good game that people are like, I fucking love this, but it never really plays out that way, which is like problematic. But that's why I think like on the pro level it's so good. Like the coordinated 6v6. It really like there's no excuse for why this game is like it's not going your way. Like skill usually wins out unless it's like a kind of a bullshit meta, which does happen. But I think this year what's gonna make it so great is the like format changes. They spent the year in COVID last year. It was a little rough first, but they really nailed it out, and I think they've divided the regions. I think that's really helpful for new people trying to get into it, where there's the 8 teams in Asia and the 12 in NNA, so it's a little similar to the first year where it's a lot more digestible. You can get a grip of the power rankings without having to keep up with 20 fucking teams. And there's also going to be less games than ever. Like they've been gradually going down from like 40 to like 30 to 20. Now it's like 16 games with tournaments after each team plays 4 games. So it's like a big problem was it's like just such a long slog of a league that like the games stop feeling like they matter. But this year they're going to really count a lot more because there's only 16. Like you really got to show up. Like you can't, oh, they're going to find their groove eventually. And no, you really have to like bring it every time, and there's going to be stakes to it. And then that also doubles for there's going to be more tournaments than last year, and those are always hype as hell. And they're also going to be more impactful because you get bonus wins for placing high, like first top 3 placings. So again, with this less games per year, you really want to perform well every chance you get, and so there's really no room for shit in the bed. So what do you guys think of that altered?
I think that's good because like I stopped watching Overwatch after they added in a bunch of teams. Like when I was watching when the Dragons were like what 0-21
season 1,
and
yeah.
they,
and
season
40.
1 0-40. But yeah, after that they added a whole bunch of teams.
Now they're the best
like,
team in Asia, so things have really changed.
Yeah, it was just like way too much to keep up with, and like all the teams, and then like you said, it just becomes chaos. And I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna do something else.
Is the cat still the banning process?
The what?
The cat?
Oh,
I don't know. They haven't confirmed. I'm imagining they're not going to bans this year.
Bro, like I was
because the players
trying to
are,
get, I tried to get into Overwatch like over COVID, and it was just such a shit show. It was such a shit show trying to watch these like people in their house like try to like run a league. It was terrible.
yeah, it's the casters. Like I guess the production is also at home, but they did it behind the scenes. They really love their animals in Overwatch League. Like chick with like a parrot or something. Like it's me and Polly every week. Imagine the audio or whatever. But they've really kind of ironed it out. And even I like the big league. Like I mean the Asian. I think both are going to be super competitive, and you don't really need to follow both to kind of get a taste of both because the tournaments are this time going to be cross region. They're bringing the NA teams to Hawaii to limit ping and play against the teams in Korea or China or whatever. So it's like you can follow your NA teams at like a normal like American time schedule, and then when the tournament happens, the best from both regions come, and you get like kind of a taste of what's going on over in Asia, and also the different metas, because it happens a lot where there'll be like slight alterations or sometimes major ones, and you kind of get to see which style prevails in a big tournament.
Have they talked about doing like a per match ban system? I know they was talking about they were doing like a just like overall ban this character.
So it always comes down to there's not enough characters yet. Like there's like you can do it in League obviously because there's like 160 or something, but and also like prep time. So I think they could if they did it like because the matches are preset. So if they kind of decided ahead of time, like you could do it. But another big reason, like you need to still have a week to prep. But another big reason they're against it is like you want to see like the best players on their best heroes. Like you don't want like every time you play NYXL that Zenyatta is banned, for example, and it's like Jonak just never gets to play his best character. It's just like that's kind of whack. So that's a big. I guess if you factored in a protect system of some kind, you could do it. But
yeah, I'm just thinking about match fixing because he was talking about per match thing. I'm like, oh well, Jonak is out now. Yeah. Randomly selected Zenyatta every time this kid is up. Like
yeah, but like Steve said, you could like implement a protect system. I think that'll just like add a lot more depth and like adjustments on the fly. Well, not necessarily on the fly. Like you said, you have a week to prepare, but
yeah, the biggest problem is that the meta gets so stale. That's kind of why they implemented it in the first place. It's like it becomes the same 6 people against each other, and if you only have a week to prepare on like this brand new like these characters out, you don't know what's going to happen, but it ends up kind of damaging the competitive integrity because it's like, oh man, this team figured it out in scrims and this one didn't, and this is all that really decides the game. Like there's been games where it's like, or like an Ash Torb comp or something was just like fucking them. Like the LA teams played each other, and then like the last map, Gladiators were just like, fuck it, we're gonna mirror you, and they shit on them. So it's not like they were the better team, but they were beating them because they had their weakest scrims was different, and that's not really what you want.
I'm also thinking too, like Why don't they just make more fucking characters? That fixes their fucking bullshit problem. But they've produced how many characters since the game came out? New? 8?
No, something ridiculous. There's like over 35 now, or 35.
Yeah, it might be like 10, I'd say. I don't know, but Overwatch 2, they're gonna drop a bunch. At
Well, yeah,
once,
but
so...
that when is that? Exactly. So
BlizzCon this
Delayed.
weekend.
Delayed to
into a shakedown video,
2022.
Jeff.
2021, and so Echo came out in like April of 2020. So if there's no characters coming out, that's going to be pretty stale.
There's no way that they're pushing it a whole year and not characters. Like, I just can't imagine that.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm
the
hoping at
Activision heads up
BlizzCon.
would be like, Jeff, what?
They're no, yeah, save it. No, Activision would be like, yo, save it for when they have to buy the second game. That's the same game, obviously. I mean, I'm interested to see. I mean, I hope honestly Overwatch 2 kind of like changes it a little bit, because it does sound like it kind of gets stale. Like, I remember when Dive was hot, and I'm like, that was probably the most interesting season to watch. Because of like, I love.
It's always like rose-colored glasses in like the past. Like, people are like,
I mean,
super
I just like
Dive,
playing
Dive,
it.
Dive
Dive was
going
fun.
on too long.
I
and
just
then
like playing it because those were the characters that I like to play.
now people are like, oh man, I miss goats. Like, there was
Yeah.
so much micro tactics. It was so much.
And
smarter
then
than
people
just
would
aim at
say
heads
it's
and
just a
shoot.
shitty Dota 2 version. So
Yeah. I feel like Dive was fun to watch, but like not fun to play against, if that makes sense. But that was like also when before break, so like now
I think it
Yeah.
was more like fun to play but hard to watch. Like, right now the meta is really hard to spectate because it's like Ball, Sigma, and it's like teams split off into like 3 different
Yeah.
areas to fight. So it's like really hard.
they need the command center back really bad. So that was
sure.
like a fantastic
that?
tool. It was like it allowed you to like go in and select what people's POV you wanted from either team. So say you just wanted to see pro Lucios just, stanking on walls, you could just watch both Lucios.
Damn.
And shit like
Dude,
that.
every esport needs that, dude. I'm watching League
Yeah.
and I'm like, I don't want.
They had that back when they were like in their LA arena, but not for online.
What?
That's like one
the
of my-
command center essentially. You could watch like, oh, I just want to watch this top laner all game. You could,
Mhm.
So
That's like my favorite thing when I'm like watching a competitive esport, like just like learning how these professional players are playing characters. Like you said it the other day, Blake, when you were like, "Oh, I was watching." I like learned a bunch of shit from like watching like pro Azirs in the LCS.
Yeah.
Like that's what I love, and like when like not having features like that just makes it hard, because like if I want to learn how to play Tracer, if I want to learn how to play Genji,
yeah,
I just have to hope.
and something that Siege needs desperately. Like they're adding a replay system eventually, but they need like that live thing to like when you watch a match, like, oh, like I want to watch just the smoke player, see how he, utilizes his canisters. But going back to Overwatch League, like I kind of fell off hard this past season. I just got bored. I think half of like a good portion of my lack of interest is the fact that the Uprising was just so dog shit that like even as a fan I was like, I can't even watch this is unbearable.
Hey, they had that one win against Gladiators.
Yeah,
That
but
was
I mean, like another thing is it's like what personalities are really left outside of like Super for the English speaking demographic, because now Surfer is gone. He's more entertaining with Moon doing their Blue Lives Matter skits on GTA Online. So like who is left to tell me, because that's infinitely more entertaining than like Overwatch League to me
I
right
think
now.
it really comes back to like they're just like there's such turnover and such like Korean dominance in Overwatch League that the casters and the talent have kind of like taken over as like your window into like
But
personalities, and
also,
they're a little more free to like talk because they don't have backlash from like their
What's
team
his
and
name?
stuff like
Bren the gold player.
Bren, yeah. Pretty
yeah,
sure he's
yeah.
back in the now.
Brendan Sladro are fantastic. They
Yeah, they
really
became
ruined.
casters and now they're amazing. They're just like Brent is just like talking out of his ass the whole time, and Sedge's really good, but they're just both like hilarious together.
Mhm. I mean,
There's a few pairs
the
that
the,
are really
the
good.
thing I remember most of last season was which one? Hex, when he was just like blatantly drunk on the stream and just. That's
Dude,
like the main thing I
saw
remember.
That shit was funny. That shit was funny.
And then I think it was ZP was his co-caster, and he's just like, oh, it's like my boy over
Yeah,
here.
trying to cover it up. Trying to cover it up. Did he get
Yeah,
fired
yeah.
for that?
No.
No, it was like because their time.
Yeah, he was
Like, we
covering
had to
all
guess,
the.
like an Asian game.
Yeah, he was like 3 a.m. every
Yeah,
game.
he was filling in for someone. I think it was with Achilleos. So he's
Oh
just
yeah, it
like,
was
"Oh,
Achilles. Yeah.
yeah, he's probably filling in for Wolf. But yeah, I think the personality's there, and like they have a lot of good insights, even though they're not
But
the best
that
players.
is that. I mean, that's a problem. It's like I want to root for some players, and like none of like it's like a problem a lot of people have mentioned with like the Overwatch scene. It's like there's like no real trash talk. There's no like real kind of like player driven like drama or stories
There's a
that.
few crazy.
The
Some of the
last-
But
Korean
like
DPS are wild.
The last one I heard
Yeah,
was
but
what was his name? Who was the fucking the tank on Vancouver when he fucking switched to
Bumper.
Bumper. He switched to
Yeah.
Hanzo just to let him
Yeah.
know.
that was season 2. He
Yeah.
didn't. He got dropped for season 3. That's 2 seasons ago at this point. Like, well,
Yeah.
who do you have? Like, like that's. I think people are always like, oh, that's why the Call of Duty League is so successful because there are personalities and they do talk mad shit to each other and it's like entertaining. Like, what is there's. I feel like for Overwatch League, there, as if you're not a fan already of the game and like you just love the game like Steve does, like what's there to really draw you in? There's like no one to really latch onto outside of like 1 or 2 people, and that's not good enough.
I don't think sorry for all the drama mamas out there, but I don't think that's really the main appeal of a lot of esports. I think like the power rankings and seeing who's gonna win, like that's the main storyline. Is like
Well-
who's the best team.
Well, for me, I'm not necessarily about the drama, but I do agree with Drake. With Jake, I wanna like have someone that like when I was watching it was like Sabiolbe. I was like I want to see Sabiolbe win. Like I don't care what team he's on. I just want to see my boy
Yeah,
win.
like
I don't really like have that guy. Where
yeah, it's not even
They like push a
drama.
little more.
There's just like no personalities that like even like are personable. Like half of them, yeah,
RIP
most of them
Dogman
are
as well, but,
Korean, but it's like they're not talking that
some
much.
of the coaches have stepped in as well. Like they kind of gave them more time to do that during the tournaments where you got to pick your opponent for the rounds, and so it's like they'd have representative from each team, and sometimes it was fucking terrible, which is like entertaining in its own right, I guess. They're just like pulling teeth, but sometimes they came out with some slappers. A lot of the coaches like Packing 10 was a good one who's just like matter of fact like we picked them because they're garbage and we're gonna beat them. Like a lot of that going around. So
I mean,
maybe.
I don't know.
I mean,
As somebody from the
Yeah, Blake,
outside,
yeah.
it's like it's kind of like you need somebody to be able to latch on to at the beginning. Like I'm not saying that the drama is that important, but like you have to have at least some kind of personality where I'm going to be like, yeah, I want to watch you, I want to root for you, and then that's going to eventually get me into the esport because eventually I will enjoy watching the game. If they don't have like literally anybody, because like I even when I watched like tried to watch it on like season 2, I was like, this game is dominated by Koreans, and I don't understand what the fuck that like. I want them to be funny, but then when they're banning them for like typing out big dick in the fucking chat, like,
It's just fine.
It's just
yeah, oh, it's just a fine,
Just
yeah,
a
okay,
fine.
And his homie paid
yeah,
her for it.
so fucking Activision, yeah, just a fucking you fuck yourself.
But
But,
that
like,
is
still-
a good point that since they have allowed I don't know, Jake's back in the league, so they might ban it again, but that having match chat has helped give you some aspect because it's a more easy way for the Koreans to kind of relay with just like a sit from Carpe in the chat. Like that
Yeah.
speaks more volumes than he's ever said in an interview. Like
Yeah, and
I think-
I like these kids are like dead fish in interviews too, and that's you can say that about every esport, to be honest with
can't
you. They're
polish
very-
your video game skills and your social skills at the same time. It's not.
I think
unless you're
having
naturally-
like
That's what
Blake
Twitch is
said,
for,
it's
too.
important having something to latch onto being a new player, and I think systems like what Jake said, where you can like, all right, I may not know anyone in the league, but like I want to learn how to play Genji, so I watch this player for Genji, may become attached to that player, and then regardless if he's Korean or not, you're just like, wow, he's really good at Genji, and I admire him for that, and then that's how you become a fan. I think like having.
I'm just saying there
gateways
has to
like
be
that-
a throughway. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There needs to be a throughway, and I'm just like, usually it's like them popping off on the internet saying some dumb shit. I'm like, haha, that's funny. Maybe now I'll watch a game. You know, like let's talk about the reality. The reality of the situation is like nobody's watching this esport right now, and there's obviously a reason.
They do pretty consistently well. Obviously, they do better in like China and stuff, but just like they have a consistent. They're not probably worth the value that these people are paying for, obviously, but
1000%.
maybe they'll get it back in homestands. But there is still like it's not like a dead esport. There's
Yeah, they
still
get like
regular
consistent
viewership.
20,000 views at least.
No, more than that usually.
than
Like
It's like 40-ish,
uh,
I think.
yeah, like 40-ish is pretty solid. And then for tournaments, it goes up. And the format this year should really just help that all around, just easier storylines to follow.
Now I'm
But
just concerned that there's less. Now that I heard that number and there's less games and still only getting 40,000, and then thinking about the buy-in, I'm like, even if they spent $1, each person spent $1, you're not even going to hit that ROI per season. I'm like, oh god.
well, they get to make their own merch now, which is going to add new avenues for them to make money. Is their partnership with Fanatics
Even
or whatever.
like stuff like
horrendous.
that is like they do like one of the Korean kids says something like a sit in the chat and like you turn that into a shirt, like stuff like that or like
Mm.
get-
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
with that.
But
It's just like
it's like
I do
if
want
you watch any
personality.
sport, it's because I don't really fucking whose personality are you following in the NFL or the NBA? Like, oh, is Tom Brady wowing people with his well, now he is because he's drunk in the street all the time. But
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The real-
like, that's
he's
why we
always
watch Tom
But that's the
Brady.
thing. He's a
I was
storyline.
never a fan before. But
I mean,
when he chucked his Super Bowl trophy,
Yo,
from
I've
a
never
boat,
I've
seen,
always
like,
been a fan of
everyone
him.
hated Tom Brady until he won the 7th ring and was drunk in the streets. Now everyone's a Tom Brady fan. I'm tired of it.
No.
See?
No, I've been a fan of him since he's been cheating. He's a real one. My boy's ready for it. He wants a
he
ring.
cheated in the way this way, like taking the air out the ball. This is how I prefer it.
Yeah, so my boys can fucking catch it, or when I throw it into their face mask, it will get stuck.
I'm that
Because
good.
my boy throws fucking lasers. You seen that? Oh my god. Yeah, no, fuck Brady though. I'm not actually a fan of Brady. I didn't want him to win. I wanted my boy 2 years in a row, 25, and he's coming for the record. Let's go.
I wanted Gronk to win. 'cause
Fuck Gronk.
Hey, he showed up. They had no one to stop that man.
exactly.
If anyone is a failed super soldier, it's that guy. Like that guy is like 9 feet tall.
He has a YouTube channel with his like brothers too, where they do dumb shit. I saw one with like they had a video of Moist Critical random. But anyway, let's not alienate our gamer fan base here. I think the main reason to get into it is like the competition and like seeing who is actually the best. And I think that's kind of been a downside for a lot of these past seasons where it's like there's been a pretty clear cut best, and for the last couple of years it's been the shock. And it's this year is going to be the most competitive yet, which is why I think it's going to be the best year of Overwatch League so far, because a lot of teams kind of got rid of their dead weight and then just picked up a bunch of super talent. Like there's stacked teams all over the place. And I want to go through the NA teams, the ones that matter in my opinion, and kind of get your take of like who you think you'd be able to get behind. And
Okay, first question.
Yes.
First question. Are they all new blood or they're tested already? Like these kids have actually played in the professional
A lot
league?
of them are kind of consolidations of like this person is known for being good on someone else's team, but their whole team wasn't good, so now we're going to put them on a super team, basically. It just feels like there's a bunch of super teams right now, and then the lesser teams are pulling in like a lot of like hot Korean players from contenders and shit to like Boston, where it's like they were garbage, they're keeping 3 players, and then there's like a bunch of new Korean talent that might make them actual like contenders.
And
So all the
soon.
confirmed
Don't forget
garbage
soon.
has-
He's not
All the
Korean.
confirmed garbage has been
That's it.
removed.
Seems
Okay, what team? All right, my second question is what team has the most bench riders that are now starters? That's what I want to know. Because I want to see the bench ride. I want team bench riders to win, whatever it is.
Vancouver Titans is made up of like all I call it the retirement home. It's like they kind of blew up their whole thing. They had the best Korean team like ever basically in season 2, and then they had a bunch of drama, so they blew up and took like a straight up contenders team last year out as like a desperation move. And this year they're just kind of taking a bunch of like players that no one else wants, who are like veterans but not good enough to like actually win you anything. So
Okay, is their coach awesome?
couldn't tell you.
Is-
Probably not.
Is that Harsha
Okay.
or is he back on Houston? I can't remember.
Harsh is on Houston.
Okay.
Fuck.
He
Damn it, dude. I'm like, this is the call. I'm like, they're
now
going to
I
win
feel
it
bad.
all.
I only have the good team. I only talked about the good teams, so I don't know any of that. They're really
Dude,
not.
that's-
much.
Well, then that
these-
kind of
these
hurts
are
your
the
argument of like this is gonna be a super competitive year. It's like if you just ignore the shit teams, then yes, it's a competitive.
Well, I ignored the 3 shit teams. Like I have all the other ones. I wrote them up.
Bench riders are gonna ride again. They're gonna win. I'm
I should have
calling it
known Blake
now.
wouldn't want a like actual
Yeah,
good team
yeah,
to root
an
for.
actual-
He'd want.
no.
But like,
Whoever
dude,
has the
this is what we're talking about.
Yeah,
of
like-
course.
Let me look in the Discord what the
But this is
I
what
sent
I'm
out a best
talking
power
about.
ranking. Yeah, look at the power ranking in the Discord.
You vastly underestimate the fucking power of like stupid bullshit that people attach themselves to. Like it can be anything. Sit in the chat. Like that's dumb. But people care about it for no reason.
I don't know. I like Florida Mayhem because they have sweet colors, and they have my boy Yaki who talks mad shit. He's like
Alright.
he was kicking
I'm
Boston down
liking it.
while he was yeah, he's like a Tracer Genji superstar basically, and he was like they when they did the pre-recorded interviews, they were a lot better, and his was just like, yep, we're going against Boston again this week, guaranteed win in the fucking bag.
Yeah, my boy the Titans are bottom of the barrel. Jesus. Yo, I'm calling it. Come from behind victory. Everyone loves an underdog, especially old underdogs.
No, you'd be better off going for one of the European teams. Like they're all Western players. Like the London Spitfire is like a contenders team that they basically just promoted all of them. Some of them are former Overwatch League players that couldn't hack it anymore. But they're like legendary contenders players. So, but it's like always like usually there's a pretty severe drop off when you come to the big leagues. And then Paris is also just like every worthwhile like veteran European player you can find is like been lumped onto Paris. But it's like, so that's why I think this year's going to be good. There's no real bad teams. Like even those bottom teams aren't bad. It's just the other teams are just like so fucking good. Like they really like leveled up in every and most of the top teams. So it's going to be like really hard for them to even really stand a chance, even though they would have been solid middle tier any other year.
All right.
God, they really need to fucking like fix the view, like the camera. Like it is hard to watch. I'm thinking about it now.
They've gotten better. Sometimes
They're
it's hard to
ve-
like you have to really have to predict where the action's going to happen. You know.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. I'm like, they're very good at doing it in retrospect. That I do like watching like the breakdown videos of the games. You actually like get a very good view of it. And honestly, I when I was trying to watch it, I would literally just watch the breakdowns on YouTube more, just to like see like what the fuck actually happened, because everything is happening so fucking fast. And if you don't like see a play coming and you're not like wrapped
read
up
the
into
kill
it,
feed.
Yeah.
no, that's not what I mean. I mean, like, why was this play meaningful now? Like, why did he decide to do that? Like, understanding the game is one thing. I was thinking about this while I was taking a piss before, but I'm like, imagine trying to teach your girlfriend Overwatch. Like, I think about like teaching football that's been around for like 100 years now, and I'm like, what the fuck how do you teach somebody this? That's like has no.
There's actually a series
concept.
of Sideshow trying to teach like a former NFL player, Spice Adams, like Overwatch League, and the answer is have them play it first, because it's like it's sad trying to watch him try to like he has to explain the whole fucking game to him basically to make anything make sense. Like this is definitely one of those games where you need to have some hands-on experience. Like you don't have to be good, but just knowing the basics of how things are set up, because otherwise it's just pew pew pew.
Yeah, but that's how they present it too, and it's just like this
I mean,
is
like
unintelligible.
in a broadcast, you can't be like every single broadcast. You can't explain the game.
Not that you need to explain the game; it's just hard to tell what's happening from the POV camera angles that they use.
I think
Like,
a lot
they
of the
very-
casters are pretty good at making sense of it though, and I think production has just gotten better over the years, because it is such like the first year the cameras were like didn't know where to go, but now they've gotten pretty good, and the analysts really help you like bridge the gap of like what's happening, why they're doing this, because they can kind of predict what they're going to do. I think that's what it comes down to.
I don't know. It can like sometimes. Well, for me, when I would watch, it would like get kind of confusing with the colors, the team colors. I know they have like away and home team colors, but like sometimes they were very similar. And it's like you have to go based on what is it, like the outline. Like sometimes the outline might be red, but like both skins are white. So like that was like one of the.
Yeah, I think that's one of the features they've added to like Overwatch League that they didn't have in previous competitive Overwatch, that makes it a lot easier, because like which team is shooting red lasers? That's one team, and the other team's always white.
Yeah.
I think that helps make some of the clutter make sense.
But after
Yeah, I
looking at
don't
this
know.
list, I was originally an NYXL fan when I first started watching Overwatch League in season 1. I think I'm going to come back as a Defiant fan.
Finally looking to turn it around this year because they have not been making it happen. Yeah, they've just kind of scalped a bunch of players and coaches from like Philly who were good last year, so they might, and just recruiting a lot of like new Korean talent, so they might actually be good this year for the first time. Washington Justice are supposed to be really good because they have like kind of the biggest carry ever in Decay, who's like their sniper tracer player. And now he's like also got like the best, like one of the best off tanks ever in Fury, and a new like a contenders Korean main tank Mag, who's I think Mag, yeah, who's supposed to be like insane. So like that core, and then a few like supporting players. They're supposed to be insane just off the back of Decay alone. It's like he changed the whole playoff meta by just like being insane on Zarya last year. They made like a random run. But there's a lot of interesting storylines, like if the Shock are gonna be able to, like, in a lot of ways the Shock could be better than they were last year, but they lost a lot of key players, but they got kind of younger, higher ceiling potential ones. So there's like that to watch out for. But at the same time, every other team has gotten really good. So if they're gonna be able to hold on to it, but they're still kind of the favorites.
How
Who
is the
has the
Shock's
most
coaching
synergy?
staff?
Who has
Shock
the
have the
most
best
synergy?
coach ever.
Okay,
Synergy,
yeah.
Shock. Shock have like number one coach, number one tracer, like number
No,
one
I'm not talking about
Winston.
like I'm like it really like because it seems like a lot of the teams like are playing together for the first time. There's a lot of roster changes. Like obviously
Yeah,
they're going to
well,
practice, but like when it comes
Dallas
to fuck
Fuel,
down to it,
my boys, Dallas Fuel have been like consistently disappointing. Like always like one of the worst fucking teams, even though they always like seem like hopeful, but then there's some kind of internal explosion. Like they are the drama team. But this year they've like got rid of all of their team except for one player, and then kind of took this like legendary contenders team, Element Mystic, and took all of like they were kind of scattered around the league, mostly on Paris and then some other ones, and they put them all on the team. They got the coaching staff from there too, so they're like pre-packaged, ready to go. So they're like people are really having high expectations for them because they're like insane in every role and they have pre-existing synergy. So like I was like done being a Fuel fan, but they've given me hope once again. So
I mean, if they don't make this one work, they have. I want to know how much money they wasted on overpaying these kids over now 4 seasons. They've definitely spent the most on salary out of any
they are
team,
America's
and the
team,
amount
and
of
America
shit
bleeds
turnover
money.
they've had is astounding. I'd love to see those figures. So
the 3 year budget for them must have been fucking god awful. Like,
but
and I can only
Jake,
imagine what they spent
the
this year.
synergy,
the synergy.
Synergies.
Yeah, look, I'm telling you, my boys, Vancouver Titans, it's gonna happen.
They
I'm
have
telling you.
the experience and knowledge.
All right.
Yeah, and the synergy, and the whole thing is that they're gonna lose in the regular season, but they're gonna win the tournaments.
All right.
I-
Just
that-
limping into the tournament if they
No,
qualify.
no. I'm just saying they're going to be down in the tournaments, but they're going to get extra wins. They're not going to win the tournaments, but they're going to be in like third, and they're going to get like an extra point that's going to carry them into the finals, and then they're going to win it all. I'm calling it all now.
So Blake calls Vancouver Titans flukes into the finals, but they make it look easy once they're there.
And wins it all. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's what I'm calling. No knowledge at all. Just
Put all
based
the money on
knowledge.
that, you would make bank if
Yeah,
off that one.
that's exactly, and that's what I'm saying. Put your money on that while you're playing Infamy.
For
because
the
that's
person
why.
out there who's like looking for the parlay, you just spoon fed to you. Come on. Do you want money or not?
Yeah, you want money or not? $500. No, fuck that. Actually, you know what? No, yeah, money where my mouth is. $500 parlay. Get it?
Yeah, I'm interested in some of the dark horse teams. Like Jake Boston might pull it together. You don't know.
I know. It was my boy Valentine's birthday because that's why it's called Valentine. So he's eligible. So there's hope for once.
Yeah, the league leaked the roster thing for like a Valentine's Day tweet or some shit. And Boston's like, what the fuck, man?
I mean,
We've been saving this tweet. We've had it in the loaded, ready to go.
the hope has gone from being not the absolute worst to, being hopefully middle table. So it's in baby steps.
No, I
But
think there's no shot that they're bad. I think
I mean, there's
lower
some of those other
mid-tables.
teams in NA are some dog shit teams. So we'll see.
not really, just the bottom three pretty much. Blake's boys and Europe.
Yeah, they should be
Oh,
beating all
they're-
those teams, but
They're gonna be the best. I'm telling you.
So fourth worst is what you're looking at, but there's always like someone that surprises you, like out of nowhere. Like last year, Paris was like half their original European roster and half new Korean players, and like everyone was like, "That's not going to work." But they were insane all most of the season somehow. That French Korean barbecue.
when is the league supposed to start back up? Did they give like a rough?
April.
Okay. When that happens, what is there some things like that's gonna you think what things that the Overwatch League offers is gonna draw me to spend my free time watching Overwatch, say over Rainbow Six Pro League, the Valorant Champion Tour, a fighting game scene, or like the LCS, let's say. Like, what do they have? Like, what's your selling point to me for my time?
I think it's a lot less time commitment because of the fewer games and more tournaments. So it's like even if you only want to tune in for the tournaments, you'll still have a good idea of what's going on because to qualify for them, you have to be the top of NA or APAC, and you can just watch those. And as a contained event, you don't even need to watch the regular season, and it'll help you keep up. And like I said, there's less. You can watch APAC, which is only 8 teams, and NA, which is only 12. So it's just a lot easier to take in. And mostly that just like I think Overwatch is like one of the most high competitive games there is, and this is going to be the most competitive season, so it really comes down to the meta. I think is like if it's going to be worth watching. Hopefully Jeff doesn't screw us on that one, but I think there's just like it's going to be the most like highly contested season and easiest to watch, and just like highest in entertainment value with the tournaments and the cross regional stuff. So I think there's just a lot to worthwhile for.
So you're hoping for permaban May? That's what you want?
Yeah.
Permaban, man.
Yeah, there's some characters I never want to see.
Yeah,
May is definitely one.
Yeah, well, they haven't
But-
added any characters. They've been more aggressive about balancing, so I think that speaks well for the potential of like if something's gonna be annoying like May, like it at least won't last for long.
Oh god. Oh, so they're gonna like in season balance?
They've been doing it for a while.
Mhm.
They like
Yeah.
what season was it when they like finally decided that we're gonna nerf around the Overwatch League because this shit is busted.
Oh,
Was it
season.
when-
Last season?
Yeah, it was last season. It's when goats was a thing.
That was
Yeah,
two-
I think it's like Steve said. It comes down to like what metas for me specifically because like I like to watch and learn characters. So if it's like characters I'm not interested,
Yeah, like I've been kind of trying out on Pro League because it's like the same like Kai'Sa Zaya bot every fucking game. Like like someone played Ezreal and I was like, hell yeah, something different. So I think that's the worst part. But because there's less, it's going to be less of a factor. And the tournaments were really good last year because you go in with you expect who's going to win and upsets left and right. Like randomly, like the Toronto Defiant were out there swinging in the second tournament, and so I think just that format change alone is going to be a big boon.
question: what are the chances you think of them implementing like a new kind of game mode before?
Not this year.
Not this year.
Like I think next year's going to be. Hopefully there'll be homestands, but I think this year's a little bit more of like a finally iron out all the kinks, like because they don't have Overwatch 2 to work with. But next year when they do have Overwatch 2, hopefully, and I feel like they'll add push or whatever because right now they.
I just want to see that mode play out. I really think it like alleviates a lot of the problems, both from what is it?
What the fuck is
Spawn
King of the
Voice.
Hill. So it's like a game. It's a game mode where there's the payload in the middle, and you have to push it to. The
Oh, it's
enemy
like a
team
tug of
side.
war.
Yeah, it's pretty much tug of war. So
Yeah, we've been
it-
talking about it since like over like season 1 of Overwatch.
Yeah, it's a combination of payload and King of the Hill, pretty much. Like it has like the fun parts of both, like the endless battle of King of the Hill, and then like the objective
Mhm.
based game mode of payload.
Well, yeah, I think that's another problem they have is like just like we said, the lack of content because it's what's going to draw in more people and make things interesting. Like Darren saying,
The
like, oh, I
League
want
plays the
to.
same.
Yeah, but they have new characters and shit coming in. Like you do see the like Rel, Viego's not in
I
there
think it's
yet, but like
I
you're
think it's
getting
the
the
opposite though, where it's like it's too much for people. Like it's hard to understand Overwatch because each game mode's a fucking different objective and things. Like League, it's like even though it's complicated, if you watch it long enough, you're gonna figure out it's the same map, same lanes, same objectives, but you
Yeah.
could turn
Yeah,
it
but
into
what do
Overwatch
you-
League 3 different times and different things are happening.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
the-
Darren's saying like he
Yeah.
wants to learn a new character. There's no new characters to learn. Like at this point, Darren knows the basics of every character, so it's like there's no one like how what
Or like maybe not learn a new character, watch someone perform on a character that I like to play. But maybe that's a better.
Yeah,
way
my
to put
boy
it.
wants to learn big plays and to be able to implement them. I hear it, but like, I mean, who was saying about League where it's like the same thing over and over again? Because they had a solid point where it's like, you know, basically what this character should be doing, and then each individual character does it in a different way, and that's why like it stays, at least in my mind,
I
why I
will grant that the
enjoy.
meta does kind of change the pacing and tactics. Like I don't think it's gonna like if you look at this like what's currently happening versus what was happening this time last year. I'm sure it was way different, but it is the
Yeah.
same fucking thing happening
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
I think that's like the beauty of Overwatch. Like with League, like the formula for what you need to do to win is very clear cut. Like whether it be like get the Baron, get the God Dragon, get an objective, or like shut down this player. Overwatch, like Steve said, you can like tune into the game at 5 different points, and like the objective or the win condition is changing constantly.
So at the end of the day, it is still kill them. So
Yeah.
and that's why I
And then
really
you
like it
have, like,
because
the-
there's
The character
6v6.
switch also.
Yeah, and the
to, like,
mid game character
accommodate for-
switch.
yeah.
Yeah, but because it is 6v6, it's like you can end up in some like weird ass situations where it's like it's just the fucking like supports and the tanks left against each other, and it's like who's gonna win out, brawl this out for the win.
I mean, there's an
Uh,
argument to be made that like, do the DPS matter? It's usually, in a way, it is a 4v4 because DPS don't matter. Much of-
Yes.
I think they help open up it a lot of the time, like with like
Uh,
snipers and hit scan have been
I
so
would.
prevalent.
It's very apparent. A lot of people have said the tanks are by far the most important role, and then support, and then DPS.
Yeah.
I think
Are
generally
there.
yes, but like in the pro level, like tanks have less like flexibility of like what they can do. Like a lot of times they're just like kind of holding what they need. Like they're kind of performing at like their peak is like it is what it is, and like you're shaping it that way. You can create some openings, but I think a lot of the times you're relying on the DPS to get a pick to get shit rolling. But tanks are the best. So. Like if like when your tank and support fuck up, that's like that's more important than when your DPS fucks up. But
Yeah.
if they're all performing pretty optimally, it's like you're gonna need someone to push it in one way or in the other. I think that falls on the DPS a lot of the time.
I don't know. I'm a higher meh than Clash of Clans, but that's just because it's a lot faster pace. But like, as far as like my hopes for like the League, maybe it's just because Clash is like a novelty to me. Because it's just like I didn't know this was a fucking esport, you know. But like, I don't know, man. It's got to be interesting to watch.
Yeah, but like, what do
if-
they need to do to get you specifically?
dude? Like I
Besides
said,
having
they
these
gotta.
kids slapbox on stage.
Yeah, but
I mean that'll win me for anything. Like I just want to see people fight, but like at the same time, it's like okay, they need to have definitely need to bring in more personality, 100%. And I don't care. It doesn't need to be fucking drama.
Bro,
I
turn on
don't.
fucking it's daytime TV if you want soap operas, man.
I'm not
The
talking about
storylines
yeah.
are in
No,
the
it doesn't
competition.
need to be drama. But like, dude, I don't want to I don't want to watch robots fight robots. I might as well just put bots on and like just fucking see how they do it. Like it does. Like you want to root for somebody, and it's like I'm making up some bullshit about my bench boys, but like it's what gets you invested enough to like see it through when it's not that interesting this time. Because they're gonna be shitty matchups. There are gonna be shitty matchups.
I think it's like any sport though, where you kind of just need to choose a team to invest in, and then like bank
yeah,
your
exactly.
investment
But
on
like,
But
what
how
I'm
are you
saying
going to
is-
choose that
yeah, but what I'm
team?
saying is like,
Yeah.
that's more of what I'm saying. Is like what like to bring new viewership into their esport, they're going to need to have a reason to latch onto that team, and like from the
Honestly, the
outset.
fucking branding. At the end of the day, I was like, man,
Oh
these new
man, that M
branding and their
bomb.
performance is really what it comes down to. Like, man, how sweet are those in-game skins and particle effects? What color scheme do I like? And how well are they doing in the ranks? Like, are they an actual
Yeah, but I'm just
contender?
talking about from a basic from the outside where it's just like this is what they need to do to get a more general audience like myself. Where it's just like I don't really watch esports. I mean, I'm interested, but maybe not this one. You know what I'm saying? And like,
I think my boy is a psychopath and can't relate to other people, so he's never going to be into sports or esports, regardless.
no, it's not even that. I just think it's just like I've played Overwatch before and I do understand what it is. I just think like one of the things is like one relatability. Like they need to have some reason to latch on a team, and two, they really need to get the production value a little bit higher. And like you said, they are working on it. So I haven't watched the last
Yeah,
season.
I would tune in the first couple weeks, and if nothing grabs you, then it is what it is. But I think you gotta actually give it a chance instead of being like,
Yeah,
"Oh, I
if
heard
they've made it
Overwatch
a
League
little
is
bit.
dead."
No. I think it's more if it's more presentable, then I might be more interested to watch it. But I was just like, even knowing what the fuck is supposed to be going on, I have no idea what's going on. You know, like at the first season or two, it was
Yeah,
like
you
it was
really
a
gotta
little
watch
rough.
the like breakdowns in between,
Yeah, exactly, and
like
that's why I'm
halftime
like,
breakdowns and shit.
and I thought I was like, that's what I was saying before. Like I had more enjoyment watching the breakdowns, and they're like, oh well, I guess that's what I did watch, huh? You know, like I just don't think like as a spectator sport, you should have a problem spectating it. You know what I'm saying?
I think
Like,
it's an acquired skill, though. I think you do get better at it as you go. Like, and as you learn the meta, you know what the big like who the big players are in each. Like in Mercy meta, I was like counting fucking reses. Like,
yeah, it's just like, well, like what we were talking about before with like, without the command center, it's like, okay, like
I do think
you
every
were,
esport should have that, though. Like,
yeah, I agree, I
That'll be
100%
like
agree,
so
and it would be
huge just for getting
sweet,
people in.
yeah, because it's just like, well, like you want to watch like a certain angle, and you're just beholden to what they're actually showing you on the broadcast, and it's like sometimes it doesn't make sense to you, and it's just like, all right, well, I want to rewind this and like see from this angle like what the fuck is going on.
I
And
mean,
I
there
think,
you'd want to go to like Sideshow and Avast. They do VOD reviews, but they're so fucking long. Like,
yeah, that's
like,
another thing too. Time investment. It's like if it's not easily digestible either, like it's like hard to grab people. I'm
yeah.
just talking again from somebody from the outside where it's like I'm interested, but like you gotta hook me here, you know. And
Yeah,
I
I
think
do
that
think
that
the
will go a
fact
long
that
way.
they're gonna be hosting it's like on site spoiler free is like the switch to YouTube has been great for me because I don't care about the chat, but like just being
Yeah,
able to like pause, fast forward, like let it buffer, skip through the breaks or whatever, it's just like cut down the time commitment big time for me. So I
yeah,
like
straight
that.
up. When I watch LCS, like I literally just leave the stream on and then I'll like go through the games and like skip the commentary, and they're like, I feel so bad for the girl that does the interviews for the English LCS because I'm just like, God, she's trying to like get blood out of a stone on these kids. Some of them are just like, oh God. I'm like, you didn't
Yeah.
even
But if
hear
you're
what she
unfamiliar with
said,
it, I
did
do
you?
think it is good to watch. Like, it depends on if their analyst team is good. Like, but I do think they have a lot of like educational points that help you get a better grip on it. And other like content like plat chat and stuff. I think it helps you get an idea of the scope. But we've been going long enough. Any final thoughts from you guys? Wait,
The
Um,
man,
what's the rating, Blake?
yeah.
What's the
it's a
man
man
plus?
and a half, man and a half, yeah.
Someone's gonna be like, on what scale is this?
All right. So here's
You're gonna
He
have to
made it
present
a
him
man
a.
on a scale of 1 to 10. Where is it?
no. It's fun. There were
It
three.
was like a 4.
There were three temperatures: straight trash, meh, and I'm like, yeah, I'll watch that.
Slightly above
I'll
that.
watch that. That's about as excited as I can get about it right now.
Mhm.
If you hear a "Let's fucking go," it is like you put all your money into it now. right now.
Jake, as someone familiar with it, what does it to do to pull you back in?
Sorry, you cut out for me. Can you repeat that?
As someone familiar with Overwatch League, what do you need them to do to pull you back in?
Like on a well, Uprising need to be decent. They can't just be embarrassment. Uh, I need to care about players. They don't outside of the Uprising. Like there just needs to be something more entertaining than just watching Team A go against Team B. And honestly, it is the command center. I want to see I love that like when Fusions first came in because he was he was a big personality on the Team UK shitting on Team USA in the World Cup. I was like, all right, I'm rooting for him. And then when he got on the Uprising, I'm like, oh, sweet. So I'd watch his POV on Reinhardt against whoever and see how he would play. So it's like I need people that I want to root for, and then be able to watch them specifically. So because a lot of the games, the last 2 seasons, I'm just like, I don't care about these teams or anyone on them, and it just seems it rolls out to be the same type of shit.
They're all gonna beat Boston at the end of the day. They're all the same in Jake's eye.
It's not even when even when Boston wasn't playing, I'm like, I have no reason to watch these other games because they're interchangeable. So it's like they're just branding's not the answer. It's like you need to have the games are personality driven, not just drama. Just like you want to root for them.
I do think because the teams have shifted up a little, there's a little more storylines of like people going against former teams. Like the league's really been shaken up, so I think it's a bit of a fresh start.
Yeah,
but also there's some past.
That certainly helps, but they just need more freedom to just like talk. Like they can't be scared to be like, oh, like I'm gonna get a fine from Blizzard or whatever. It's like they need to be able to
like get shit on.
Yeah, and I think also it's just an Overwatch specific problem where people are just like so overly sensitive about things. Like, oh, that's toxic. No, that's just saying that you just played bad. That's not like crossing the line of like being actual toxic. Like people need to go watch like actual like if they can remember of going to an actual sports game and hearing the players like talk mad shit to each other, or like Call of Duty or fighting games. Just watch a fighting game tournament and you just see these kids up in each other's faces just talking mad shit. Like that's like
even the commentators are shitting on you if you're doing bad in a fighting game.
Exactly. That was like that was fantastic about the Dragon Ball Fighters series. It's like the commentators like, oh man, double L taking those double L's, getting like dude, just like shitting on him because like, like this guy's getting like dunked on. So it's like
they have to add another L to my voice.
Yeah, dude. For real.
So it's like used to call like Washington Justice like entertainment thieves or something because they would just always be like never
just horrible. So it's like hopefully like you're saying like the level of competition has gotten better, so like the matches will be more entertaining in of themselves. But again, if there's like no real differentiation, oh my god, I can't talk right now. But between Team A and Team B, besides the colors, I'm not gonna care, and I'm gonna go watch something else.
And like I think for me, what actually brought me back is like you said, like they're shifting up the league a lot, so it allows for those like new rivalries and relationships to develop with all these new players. So I'm definitely gonna give it another chance with a new team. But like I said before, like if the meta develops into something stale, like I can't. I can't.
Yeah, that's one thing I can't really argue against. There are usually like nuances within each if you want to get into it, but at the end of the day, some are just more entertaining than others. And like Double Shield, it's like no one likes that. The players are bored they're falling asleep on stage. Like is what it is.
Are you saying my fucking uninformed opinion was right? Oh man, all my complaints were valid. Let's go.
I'll have to decide that after I edit all this. But yeah, you can watch Overwatch League April. There'll probably be some kind of preseason even because I think I heard that, but on YouTube. And if you are into any other esports, especially Battle Royale, we're hosting Fantasy Fortnite and Fantasy Apex Legend tournaments at infamy.gg. So go sign up. Gonna have some more stuff coming soon on the Fantasy Esports front, so stay tuned. And we will see you next time.